Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the show today. I'm Lynn Hawkins, founder and dean of the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, and you're in the zone, the Biz Info Zone. And you're watching the Biz Info Zone show. Whether you're live or watching the replay, I want to say welcome. We've got an exciting interview and conversation that's going to be happening today. And my guests are amazing, and what they bring to this audience is just going to be such value to you that I want you to make sure that by the time we end the show, you know how to contact and reach out to these individuals, and just be ready with your pen and paper to take notes, because we're going to go through some serious information. We're going to go through it pretty quickly because there's a lot to share, and I want to make sure that you get this information. So back to, you're in the zone, the Biz Info Zone. You're on the show with me, your host. And, you know, this show is designed for the savvy social entrepreneur so that you can learn to express your purpose, plan your next moves, take the inspired action, implement those things that you know are going to move your business forward, and do just that so that you can take your business, your life, the lives of your loved ones and others into the realm of prosperity and abundance. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to my guest and friend and business partner in a lot of respects, because after having connected with her probably about a year ago now, we have just found that there are so many synergies that we're working towards, and the biggest being making a difference in the world. Molly Youngblood Geiger is not only a Google Premier Partner, she's a web and SEO expert, a website designer, she's an entrepreneur and owner of Design Right For You web services. And today she's here with us, and she's going to be opening you up to some valuable information about Google Grants, Google for Nonprofits, YouTube Nonprofits Program, the Google Earth Outreach Program, all of the things that Google is participating in now with nonprofit organizations to help them to build business. Now, if you think that you're a nonprofit and you're a charity organization versus thinking that you are a business that garnering revenue, that driving revenue, increasing revenue is not your prime focus, then maybe this isn't the broadcast that you want to watch. Because what I know about nonprofits and for-profits is that there is only one difference. And that difference is how profits are handled within the organization. And so, having said that, I'll get into that a little later, because the primary focus of what we're going to talk to you about today is not just for the mindset of a nonprofit organization, but it is also for the for-profit business owner. Because if you thought about having this causal purpose and you want to maybe start a nonprofit arm of your business or create a nonprofit and then run two businesses, there may be other options for you, like aligning with a nonprofit that's already in existence, that already has history, that is doing well, that actually is focused on your causal purpose. Why reinvent the wheel? And so that's why I want this for-profit enterprise audience to really check out this information, because at the very least you're going to find out how you can help nonprofits that you may be connected with to connect into this Google for Nonprofits program. Or you may be thinking now in a more expanded view of what you might want to do with a nonprofit that's coming up on your radar, or that you personally want to align with. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest, Molly Youngblood Geiger. Hi, Molly, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me on the show today. I'm excited to be here, and I'm definitely excited about talking about the Google Nonprofits program. Just a little information about myself. My name is Molly Youngblood Geiger, Design Right For You out of Jacksonville, Florida. I currently participate with Google on several different platforms. I'm currently a Google Rising Star. I'm also a Google Partners Community Ambassador, and I'm also a Google Small Business Advisor. In addition to that, I wanted to share that the Google Nonprofits Program is eligible in the United States for people with a 501c3 tax status, and it actually is a worldwide program. You can actually participate with the Google Nonprofits even if you're in a foreign country. Now, with certain countries there are certain restrictions, but it's the type of thing that even if you're in a country that's not participating with Google Nonprofits, you can request an exception to be made. So I just want to let everyone know out there that this program is for literally everybody out in the world.
Thanks, Molly. You know, it's really key for people to know that this program is in global focus, and the people that I bring to the show, I really am conscious about what it is that they offer, the information that they're sharing, and how valuable it is, because it can go and extend to the global needs of organizations. So thanks, Molly. Molly, you know, let's just jump right into it. You know, you've been in this space now for a good little while. You were one of the first to get this entrenched into Google for Nonprofits. Tell us, how did you get on this journey to really want to support entrepreneurs and the nonprofits world in with, you know, Google and what Google offers?
Sure. Well, I'd have to say my introduction to Google Nonprofits was within the Google Partners community. That community basically supports digital agencies like myself who work on websites and digital marketing strategies, and it was from there that I learned about the Google Nonprofits program. I'm thinking, what a great program. Why doesn't anybody talk about this great program that's available for nonprofits? And so with that, I had learned about the benefits of it, which there are several. You can qualify for Google Ad Grants, which means you're eligible for $10,000 worth of Google AdWords every month. And then there's the Google Ad Grants Pro program, which if you adhere to the Google Grants program for a certain time limit and you adhere to their guidelines, that means that you're upgraded to $40,000 a month of free Google AdWords every month. In addition to that, they also offer the Google Earth Outreach program, which takes advantage of Google Maps and gives those nonprofit organizations a preferred maps placement. And in addition to that, there's also the nonprofit's YouTube platform, which actually takes a nonprofit's YouTube videos and YouTube channel and promotes them. So in addition to that, there's one other platform associated with the Google Nonprofits, which is the One Today program, which is essentially like a crowdfunding program. The only difference is that with that program, the nonprofit is eligible to raise funds for their organization free of charge. So those are just a few of the benefits that a nonprofit can benefit from by entering into the Google Nonprofit program. Really, there's only two requirements. If you're located in the United States, you do have to have the 501c tax status with the IRS. As I mentioned earlier, if you're outside the U.S., it doesn't mean that the program is not available. You'll have to check for eligibility. But if for some reason it's not a part of the country that you're located in, you can request an exception to see if you can become a part of the Google Nonprofits program.
Sweet. Now, I know with having said all of that, and I think this is new for me, I did read about it, the One Today program. That's their crowdfunding platform available for nonprofits to do crowdfunding without fees. That's amazing. That's totally amazing. And I want to get into, you know, as I think about Google for Nonprofits and some of the easy ways to find out more information. Let's start right there. What's the best way for people to find out, you know, just the baseline information about what Google programs are available?
Sure. Well, Google Nonprofits has their own website, so you literally can just go to Google and type the Google Nonprofit Program, and it'll deliver you to their official website where you can learn more about all the details of the Google Nonprofit Program. In addition to that, you can also reach out to the Google Partners community, where all of the Google partners have knowledge of this program, and they are certified and specialized within the AdWords platform to know how to manage an AdWords campaign for a nonprofit. In addition to that, if people have questions and they want to reach out to me directly, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions they might have about the Google Nonprofits program.
Great. And we're going to have your contact information available for everybody to easily get to. And let's just segue a little bit into a little bit of detail around the Google for Nonprofits program. You mentioned a lot about who's eligible. You really have to be a 501c3. I asked the question once as to whether or not fiscal agency would be supported there. It is not. You actually have to be a 501c3 in order to participate. And I have actually experienced the success of organizations who were 501c3s getting into the program, quickly approved, and gotten their first month of Google AdWords grant money. And I'm talking about, you know, it was funny, J.V. Crum actually starting his new program for social entrepreneurship with youth, actually thought it was initially $10,000 a year until he actually applied for the program and saw it was $10,000 a month that the grant awarded. Tell us a little bit more about the details of the Google AdWords grant.
Sure. So with the Google AdWords grants for nonprofit, a nonprofit is eligible for $10,000 worth of free Google AdWords every month. And with that, there are certain guidelines that have to be adhered by. One of those guidelines is that your cost per click cannot exceed $2. A lot of people look at this as a challenge, but if you use certain strategies like long tail keyword, negative keywords, you come up with really catchy campaign titles, you use call extensions, call out extensions, and even the mobile campaigns, you actually can still get around that $2 cost per click limitation and still drive a lot of traffic to your website. In addition to that, in order to qualify for the Google Grants Pro program, you must have a click-through rate of 1% or above throughout the entire history of being signed up with Google Nonprofits. Again, a lot of people look at that, oh my gosh, that's such a big challenge, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. And really, if you work with somebody who's familiar enough with the AdWords platform and knows different strategies that can be implemented to kind of compensate for those guidelines, then really it's something that can be overcome. I know with the Inventors Assistance League, which we have Dr. Jeffery Horn, the CEO of the Inventors Assistance League, here with us today, I've actually been able to monetize their campaign to where I'm spending anywhere between 80 and 90% of their budget every month, meaning I'm spending somewhere between $8,000 and $9,000 of Google free AdWords every month for their campaign. In addition to that, I would add to the fact that we can use something that's called conversion tracking. And what conversion tracking is, it's a hidden snippet of code that is placed on a website that when somebody actually clicks on a Google AdWords campaign that's associated with that website, it will actually track that user and report to AdWords. And if it's linked with Google Analytics, you can actually pull your Google AdWords campaign within Google Analytics where you literally can see what activity is happening with the AdWords campaign. So for me, that's a very important insight because it gives us the ability to analyze the data and to analyze, well, where's our website traffic coming from? Is it coming just from the U.S.? Is it worldwide? Is it male? Is it female? What is the overall scope of the user that's clicking on these campaigns? And from there, we have something known as A/B testing, which we're actually able to take and monitor the different campaigns that we have in place and figure out, well, this campaign has really good click-through rate versus this campaign, click-through rate really isn't that good. Maybe we need to go in and tweak it. So it's through setting up a campaign is easy. Anybody can set up a Google AdWords campaign. The trick is managing the campaign. And that's where you really need to utilize an individual that has AdWords knowledge, strategies, tips, such as negative keywords, long tail keywords, the different types of campaigns that are available. There's just so many different tips I could share. I'm not going to try and take up the show about the management of Google AdWords, but it really is very important for a nonprofit to consider using a professional who's familiar with an AdWords campaign so that they can monetize and make maximum use of that $10,000 they get every month.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, because I've seen the benefit of having someone knowledgeable, like you said, to get over 80% of the $10,000 spent is a huge success. To have $10,000 available to you, and I think the last I heard was the margin was something a little less than 50% of the available funds actually got spent, so that you really know that your reach isn't as far as it could be, or you would be seeing that 80% being actually rolled through or more. And one of the things that I know, Molly, that you have been so instrumental in is this whole aspect of analyzing the data. What's the story that the data is telling you? And depending on the story, you know how to tweak any given area. Now, you mentioned Dr. Horn being our special guest today and here with us. I'd love for you to introduce him, the campaign that you set up for him, a little bit of the history that you saw there. And Dr. Horn, if you could just tell people, where was your organization when you started working with Molly? What has the benefit of working with her to enhance your campaign been? If you two could kind of go through that for me, I'd love for our audience to hear that.
Sure. Go ahead, Jeremy. I'd love to go ahead and do a quick introduction.
What happened was that I had been associated with the Inventors Assistance League since about 2011, something like that, maybe the latter part of that.
What is the Inventors Assistance League?
We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization that ostensibly, originally, was there to help independent inventors make money with their inventions. That was the original purpose of the thing. Things have transformed themselves quite a bit since the time in 2011. Actually, 2013, when the American Invents Act came online, everything changed, where individual inventors basically had to file a claim for originality with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. And so what happened was that before, inventors could go ahead and scribble in a notebook and kind of hide behind that and tell everybody they had something that they could claim originality for, and then go try to market their inventions and so forth. And we originally sold a program that was about, I think, 200 hard copy pages in a loose leaf notebook. And it told the inventor how to do this, how to write in the notebook, how to ultimately file a claim, but we really didn't have much detail on that, and then how to contact CEOs of companies to peddle their inventions. And that sort of worked, I guess. We never really had any data on this. But so the organization bumped along. It's been in existence since 1970. A guy named Ted DeVore founded it. He became a patent agent. He went around California glad handing everybody and having these physical sessions where people can meet and learn how to do all this and so forth. And then ultimately it became online, I think, in the latter 90s, early 2000s, somewhere in there. Well, what happened was that in 2011, I became associated with the organization, ostensibly to present it to various potential clients and so forth. And I realized that after the 2013, we really had to, even before then, we really had to change the direction of the program, because people actually had to write something in those notebooks, because they were going to file a claim to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in the form of a provisional patent application. I won't go into all the details, but they had to file a claim of originality or a patent. We recommended the PPA, the provisional patent application. But what happened was that after that, the clientele started dropping off. We had a board of directors to be very blunt about it, simply was not capable of handling the changes. And so the organization really started declining. I remember in September of 2012, the treasurer came in, or the accountant came in and said, we had to make this certain amount of money. That's when we had a physical office in California. And we were going to close the doors down the road. And I took over, and they were going to put the whole organization in what they called sleeper mode. I was at a board of directors meeting, and they were going to basically freeze the organization pending they're figuring out what to do. They didn't know what to do. I sat there, and it was just absolutely incredible, the whole thing. I won't go into all the organizational details. So, to make a long story short, in May of last year, we pulled a 1789 on them. Basically said, we're going to take this organization over. We were a 501c3, educational nonprofit. Hello, and nobody got it. So basically, we had a group taking it over, but sales kept going down and down and down and down. We had to close the office. That's how bad it was. Molly came aboard, I think, later that year, doing the website, and she's absolutely right about the WordPress. It was worse than a disaster. I'm into computers. Security stuff was horrible. I won't go into all that. It was absolutely awful. You couldn't even manage the thing. It kept crashing and everything else. She had an awful time trying to wrest the website away from the owner to get an idea. There were individuals involved in this organization that had their personal accounts mixed up with the organizational accounts. This guy had the website under his personal name, and this guy refused to give the website up. Molly went through, I don't know how many weeks, I've got all the transcripts, weeks trying to get this website away from this person. This guy was, these two organizations, these two individuals, I won't go into it, it was a disaster. There was some legal stuff and things involved. She managed to get that website to IAL, it's under IAL's name and stuff like that. She saved that. If she were not around, we would not be here. I can say that categorically. Our traffic was almost zero. I know nothing about marketing. I don't know. I call it techie stuff. And she came aboard Google. Well, everybody's heard of Google. If you haven't, you're brain dead, basically. So she went in and all this AdWords stuff, and you clicked on. I know about meta tags. I used to do some websites myself way back in the North Carolina Department of Transportation. No meta tags. You go in there, virtually no meta tags at all. Even though I think WordPress allows 20, a big deal. It's nothing. No meta tags. No nothing. So she started doing this stuff, and it took months because we were not out there at all, except basically resting on our laurels, which weren't really that many at that time anyway because of all the changes. Gradually, over the last year, we've gradually picked up, and now we're getting traffic. We're getting all this stuff. I'm not sure what to do with it because I'm in a different area. I'm basically dealing with program development. What Molly's doing not only was critical for the salvage of this organization, but what I'm saying right now, we are changing direction. We're going to become a college. We're going to be basically offering courses, ultimately, on innovation and invention in an ethical context, and how one's activities in their innovation and invention are going to be socially conscious and all the other things. I won't go into all the content necessarily. So we're not only going to be direct traffic to people who are simply doing invention and innovation, but those who are going to do it in a course-wise fashion. They're going to be taking courses for credit, ultimately, and transferring that credit into existing programs. So this whole AdWords Google thing, and that's her field. I'm not being tempted to discuss the technical things. I don't know anything about it. All I know, it's working. It's like you go to the doctor, and the doctor does something, and it works. Okay, you know whether the doctor's competent or not. I don't care how you do it. I'm doing other things. So what's going to happen is that when we change direction, this AdWords Google thing is going to be super critical. Well, I have absolute confidence. It's already beginning to work. We're making arrangements now, getting the courses online. They'll be starting in September, I found out this morning. And so that whole direction, and ultimately we'll become an accredited college, going from the old organization. So this whole thing that she's doing, it's not only nonprofit. And I'm a philosopher. That's my background. My PhD's in philosophy. And I like to look at nonprofits. Yeah, you kind of run them as businesses. Yeah, you're right. And I know from having taught government for many years that the accounting and stuff like that, it's not quite the same thing as a business per se, because you've got something overarching. Your business, you have the motive is to make profit. With a nonprofit, it's not simply to make profit. You have to make profit to maintain yourself, but you treat it as a non-governmental NGO, non-governmental organization. There's a technical difference. And so you get in there and you have, which your focus is not simply making money. You have to make money in order to survive. But your focus is that purpose for which you were established.
Yes, and what we're finding is for the new entrepreneur, especially the social entrepreneur, as more B corporations are getting started, as more entrepreneurs are actually moving themselves into the space of, yes, I can do my business, and as my business does better, what else can I do? It's that heart piece that actually takes entrepreneurs into the space of, it's more than driving revenue and earning profits in the business. It truly is about the service, and not just the service in your business, but the service to help mankind, the service that's going to make a difference in the world, which makes for-profit businesses and nonprofit businesses so much more alike than the way people thought, than the way people have been thinking. And a lot of that thinking has been driven by the corporate outline of what a small business is and what a nonprofit is and can do, and the corporation's desire to have nonprofits think that, just come to me, I'll help you out. Well, it didn't start that way. When I take a lot of people back to the beginning when social entrepreneurship first started. It was, in the small communities, in the villages, in the, cities that were growing. Something happened in the local community. It was the small business owners who were able to come to parcel or all of the rescue to help save a family or a community, an apartment complex, half the complex burned down. Well, it was the entrepreneurs and the small business owners that provided food and clothing. I mean, that's how the Red Cross started. And so what is happening in this day and age is the merging of the consciousness back to where we started. Once again, I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who say, in asking them, what is social entrepreneurship? What does social entrepreneurship mean to you? Well, when I was back in the corporate world, I participated in a lot of the philanthropic stuff of my company, or I participated in the employee gifting program and stuff like that. But now that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not sure how to connect with that type of a cause again, with that type of a heart-driven, purpose-driven sense of doing business so that you can contribute in that way. And that's what I really want to have come out of this conversation about what Google Partners and Google for Nonprofits can actually do. The recognition of your organization, the Inventors Assistance League, how might that benefit you to have entrepreneurs who know that there are a lot of inventors out there who want to do specific things, and there's an entrepreneur who really would like to say, I'd like to volunteer to be a part of your board. Then you've got this entrepreneur is now able to say, I'm a part of this nonprofit organization, have a connection on their website to you that actually adds to the traffic being driven to you. And now Molly has even more of a traffic opportunity because you've got these kinds of connections now. And that's the advantage of the for-profit, nonprofit partnering that we teach in the P3 Academy, because it helps the nonprofit, it also helps the for-profit business. And there's a lot more to it, but Molly, tell us a little bit about the analytical piece of what drove getting to, from 0 to 80% in what I consider a short period of time, less than a year.
Yeah, that's a great question, and something I was actually going to interject. When I first took over their campaign, they didn't even have Google Analytics installed, and I'm thinking, how in the world are you going to monitor what's going on with your business if you don't even have the tool installed? And so when I did a redesign, I made sure that the website was mobile friendly, meaning it's a responsive website, meaning it's optimized for mobile. Anybody out there watching, the latest trend is something, statistical data that Google has produced in the last couple of weeks, is the fact that there is a major shift going to mobile right now, meaning they did a study based on last year's usage, and they said that mobile usage doubled last year. And they see the trend going up and up and up. And so when I first took over the campaign, I wanted to make sure that they started from ground zero and we rebuilt everything. So I started with a mobile-friendly, responsive website. I went and I optimized it using a lot of metadata, using canonical links, and also installing Google Analytics tracking code and also Google AdWords conversion tracking codes. Because when you install those codes onto a website, then you're able to actually monitor what's going on with the website. And that data that you get from the website is invaluable because you can take that data and analyze it and figure out, okay, this is what we have going on. What can we do to improve it? And so from there, once I got Google Analytics installed on the website, I knew, okay, great. And I get this all the time. People come to me and they go, Molly, you built me this great website. I'm not getting any traffic. Well, the reason is you have to optimize the website and you have to market the website. And that is something a lot of people forget about, is that you have to market the website. And that really is the main function of AdWords, is it's marketing the website. Now, there's other different ways you can market it. You can market it through social media marketing. You can also market it through email. You can market it through mobile text marketing. There's various different platforms that you can market a website. But right now, on average, we get around 10,000 views to our website every week. That is coming from 0 up to around 10,000 every week. In addition to that, the Google AdWords conversion tracking code that we installed, we are at 100%. What that means is 100% of the people that go to the website take action, meaning they either email us, they sign up for a free membership, they take and they send us a contact form, and that is invaluable. To know that 100% of the people going to their website is taking action means, hey, we must be doing something right. We must be providing original content and interesting content and making the user feel comfortable to be able to reach out to us to where we can produce 100% conversion tracking. To me, that was a goal that I didn't even know we were going to be able to attain that goal. But I think it was through monitoring all the different activities, traffics, what was going on out in the digital space, that we were able to analyze it and put content on the website. We have a variety of content. We have contact forms. We have videos. We have brochures. We have pictures. We have bios. We have a variety of different content on the website. So I think it's by using statistical data like Google Analytics and the Google conversion tracking for AdWords that you're really able to slice and dice and analyze the data that you're getting from a website so that you can take that data and really use it to the benefit of the organization and try and make best use of all budgets. The main thing in my world is this. I have people come to me all the time and I tell them, okay, this is going to be X number of dollars for me to build your website in search engine optimization and sub an hours campaign, and they always go, oh, that's so much money. And I have to explain to them, it may seem like a lot of money now, but when you look at the overall scope of the business, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit business, you have to understand that that's an investment. That's an investment in your business. And my job as a digital marketer is to take that investment and produce a return. We have a phrase, ROI, return on investment. And what that means basically is it's my job to take that person's initial investment and make money with it. Meaning whatever, if they're a nonprofit or for-profit business, it's my job to make sure that they see a return on their investment, because if they don't, then that means we need to do something about that. And that's exactly where Inventors Assistance League was at. When we first started taking them on, they weren't turning a profit. They weren't earning any money. That was the whole reason why they had kind of gone back to where they were like, we're ready to shut the doors. We don't, we don't have any money. And I knew right at that point that I had to do something. I had to step in the breach and come up with a solution that was going to monetize the organization, because it's like I told them, we all understand you're a nonprofit, but you still have to keep the lights on. You still have to bring in some type of income to pay for the services that you use, telephone, servers, electricity, you know, you may have subscriptions to the software that you use. That's something else I'd like to talk about, is that Google Nonprofits also utilizes the Google Apps for Work, which is a great series of free tools, I might add, that a nonprofit can use. You got Sheets and Docs and HelloFax, HelloSign. You can literally call people from your laptop or your desktop for free anywhere in the world. So, but that was my goal with the Inventors Assistance League, was to take their website, rebuild it, optimize it, start the analytics campaign, start the AdWords campaign, and then improve upon the campaign results. And right now, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, we're at about 80% spend. A lot of times people go, oh, I want to spend 100% of that $10,000, and that's not necessarily the focus. If you can get between a 75 to 85% return on the investment that Google gives you, then you're doing good. The focus shouldn't necessarily be on spending the 100% of the money. The focus should be on the quality of the campaign and the quality of the users that are reaching and finding the campaign. And
you know, you mentioned that, and it brings up that quality will actually be reflected in the conversion numbers that you're talking about. And that brings up a question. Virginia Parsons is in our audience today, and she says 100% conversion. You know, when we're thinking most of the time conversion equates to dollars. Yet what you're speaking to in the way of conversion is, you know, conversion at the website means that, or I'll ask you her question. Does that mean that 100% of the visitors are clicking on something or doing something on the website? Is that the 100% filling out something, doing something like watching a video, or just, and are you giving that 100% based on the amount of time that they're spending there, or just the fact that they go from more than just landing there?
Right, so the way that works is when somebody, just say they do a search, I have an invention, and our AdWords ad shows up. Well, what happens is when that user experience starts, when they literally click that advertisement and they land on our website, and then from there, when the conversion code tracks a conversion, it means they either emailed us, they signed up for a free membership, or they completed a contact form. It doesn't necessarily refer to sales. That's a totally separate subject, because the main purpose of the website is to have interaction with the users that are landing on it. We don't necessarily want to sell them the moment they land on the website. In fact, studies have proven most people don't buy the first time they land on a website. That's why we have remarketing. Remarketing is another AdWords platform that actually, again, it's code that's installed on a page, and the person has to opt to use the remarketing campaign. But what a remarketing campaign does is it actually will, let's say somebody goes and they research hotels. They're going to go to Disney World, and they go type hotels Orlando, Florida, and they go in and, you know, they find the Hilton and Howard Johnson and Marriott, and they're clicking around, but they're like, I'm not really ready to book a room right now. So what happens is that same user goes back, and let's say over the weekend they go back and they're like, oh, I better check out the hotels again. So they type hotels Orlando, Florida. What happens with a remarketing campaign is those websites that have that remarketing code installed, it will actually bring up those Google AdWords first to remind that person that they visited that website. And it's through the remarketing that you're actually able to you're able to take a non-buying customer who visits the website the first time and turn them into a paying customer. So that's another hangout. I can really get into, you know, the meat and potatoes of remarketing, but essentially that's what a remarketing campaign is.
That was a brilliant answer. Thank you. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. So, Molly, okay, we've got the whole Google for Nonprofits thing. We've got an idea of the Google AdWords. Tell us a little bit about the YouTube nonprofit program.
Sure. Well, with YouTube, it is a great platform. A lot of people don't realize this, but YouTube is actually the world's second largest search engine. And what that means is if a nonprofit makes use of video, personally, I'm a big fan of the Google Hangouts platform, but if they make use of YouTube, they actually, a lot of people don't realize this, but YouTube videos actually hold a lot of SEO weight in the sense that once a video is indexed, sometimes, and I've actually experienced this myself, when I go type a certain subject, instead of finding a website that I'm expecting to find, I'll actually find a video that has been indexed by Google and YouTube. And a lot of people don't realize that with YouTube, you can actually, once the video is done and edited and ready for the public to see, you can go in and actually optimize a video, meaning you can add keywords, you can add long tail keywords, you can add the type of subject, like if it's education, or if it's, you know, digital marketing or websites or whatever it is you do. You can actually tag that video with that subject, and that actually helps the search engine index that video, so that when a user goes out and they type that particular subject, your video comes up. Now, for nonprofits, this is an excellent way to do presentations, to actually tell the world about your organization, to tell them who you are and what you do, what you stand for, maybe how long your nonprofit has been around. And in addition to that, you can actually really build an audience of people. A lot of our Hangout providers know that when we do these Hangout videos, we get certain people that follow us, that want to watch our show every week. And that's something actually that's really a good idea for nonprofits to consider, is to create a Google Plus community for your nonprofit, and then start recording these Hangout videos of, you know, weekly video, even if it's just a weekly half-hour video. Hey, this is what our nonprofit, here's a report of what we've done this week. These are all excellent ways to connect with an audience and to actually spread the word about your nonprofit organization.
Love it. And I'm working with a couple of nonprofits now, moving them in the direction of doing just that. So I love that you said that. That may be one of the little snippets we pull out of this video today. But Dr. Horn, let me ask you this. Have you guys been utilizing video in some of the work that you're doing to expose yourselves? And how's that feeling for you?
Well, I do know this, that we do have video on, there's some YouTube videos that we have. There are some videos on the website and so forth. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And I'll confess, I'm an academician, and I go on YouTube quite a bit for creation. And if I have a choice, frankly, of if I want to know about an idea, I can sit there and read it. And yeah, I know reading's a good way of doing things, but frankly, the video does cut the time down, rather than sitting there for hours reading a whole narrative on something. Very often, it's much easier to listen to the video for 15 to 20 minutes and get the substance of that idea. And again, the picture is worth 1,000 words. So if I'm seeing like something from the History Channel, whatever, and I could see the buildings, if I'm talking about Rome or something else, I could see all that, and I don't need the 30 or 40 page description. If it takes me 15, 20 minutes to read that, whatever it may be, I can see it in an instant. I don't need the words. That's why that picture is worth 1,000 words type of thing. So a video itself, from an academic standpoint, could be an awful lot. It's a real compact way of grabbing an essential idea. And that's why I do it. And I say that as an academician. So that's why when I was teaching classes, and I say, okay, even in a concept of logic or whatever, set theory or whatever, I can throw that video up there about the class relationships. I don't need to sit there and describe in 1,000 words the Venn diagrams or whatever it may be. I can see those things pictorially, and if I'm able to move those things around, and then I can see without having to describe the agonizing number of paragraphs it'll take to describe that, bang, I can see it right there. And then I can, and that's a technical writer. When you do this with the United States Patent and Trademark Office in terms of videos, they don't use videos because they're real backwards still. But they'll emphasize the diagrams. If I'm able to see that diagram, I don't need that description. So very often they'll rely on that diagram for the ultimate description of that thing. So obviously the videos are going to have play not only a part, they can be the essential part. And if people are going from website to website doing a comparison, they'll see that video, bang, they get it within 15, 20 seconds without having to read a bunch of text, which are not going to, people are not readers. I hate to say that, but they're not readers. But there is kind of a reason for it. I'm not saying it's justified, but that's where it's at. So obviously the video, we use video. We'll have to have an awful lot more video. I'm not the techie thing. I don't know the method for presenting them and stuff like that. That's Molly's department. But yeah, I'll stand behind the videos, to say the least, for that reason.
So you're saying that Molly has really brought you guys into the video world, yeah, and is helping to optimize the website with the videos that are up there. Molly, yeah, give us an idea as to how a nonprofit should think about utilizing video. Short videos, long videos, videos we know are perfect for training opportunities, but for capturing your audience. Tell us a little bit about what you see there.
Yeah, I think for nonprofits, the main use of video would be to share with the world what your nonprofit is about. You know, that's the main point of a nonprofit, is you're out there trying to help either people or a cause. And if you're able to use YouTube, I have I guess a different opinion. I think long videos and short videos are both great to use. The shorter videos, I would optimize those for maybe social media campaigns, because that particular audience, they're just kind of out there and they're just trying to find information about the organization, versus say like a hangout we're doing today where we're really like diving into it and really, you know, getting into the meat and potatoes of the subject matter. I also agree that YouTube videos, Hangouts on Air, is great for trainings and presentations. I know just for myself, I watch presentations all the time from the Google Partners and Google Small Business Community. Those are both Google-ran communities, and so their presentations are usually about digital subjects or subjects on running a small business, which that's what I do for my clients, so I'm always interested in those types of subjects. But at the same time, I think it's good to do just an interview like we're doing today, where you find a particular subject that maybe you're interested in and just have a guest and have them answer questions about that subject. So video across the board is a great platform. It's a great tool. I totally recommend it. Again, with social media, I would do shorter videos, but at the same time, I would advise a nonprofit to use presentations and interviews to share the word about their nonprofit.
That is so great, Molly. Thank you so much. I don't know if you are familiar with Periscope, but I am actually doing a live scope right now. I know that we're simulcasting. You know, I'm running the show through the Biz Info Zone channel. You're running the show through your Google Ambassador channel. And I'm also running a live Periscope with my audience out in the Twitter land. And this is quite amazing for me, actually, because I'm new to scoping, but I've seen the reach that it has. So let me ask you this question. What do you see as far as the additional, the advancement of tools coming available for use for expanding traffic? And is Periscope going to be something that you might be venturing out with for this group?
Yeah, I would describe those types of tools as Hangout wrappers, meaning what they do is they actually take the Hangouts platform that Google has come up with, and they kind of revamp it to suit their need. There's actually another one out there in addition to Periscope. I've heard of WebJam Master, and there's a brand new one called Crowdcast. And what I'm finding with these different platforms is what they're doing is they're taking the Hangout experience and improving upon it. I know I don't have a lot of experience with Periscope, but I have had actually several conversations with the CEO of Crowdcast. And I can say just the few times that I've been on that platform, it has made a Hangout very interactive in the sense that a host can actually interact. They can conduct polls. They can answer questions. It outreaches to the other social platforms, and I think that's really the main thing I see happening with these Hangout wrappers, is it's taking something that was originally just limited to Google Plus, and it's outreaching to the other social platforms. I'm aware that Crowdcast actually interacts with Facebook and Twitter. So I think there's a lot of really smart developers out there that see this tool as being beneficial, and that's why they're going to the trouble of coming up with these softwares that that kind of repackage what Hangouts is and improve upon the user and host experience.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking at the time, and we are getting close to time to wrap up our show. And I had a couple other things. Now I'm letting my scopers in here to see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that I do. But your Google Earth outreach, just take a couple of minutes and give us a little bit of background on Google Earth outreach and how nonprofit organizations, even for-profit organizations, can see who's out there and how to get involved.
Sure. So with Google Earth outreach, you can actually visualize and tell people about your cause, tell them about your story through Google's mapping technologies. You can create a custom map of your project site in 10 minutes with Google Maps. You can also create a narrative Google Earth movie and make it available on YouTube. You can geospatial data online with maps engines and post published maps to the web. You can also collect data with certain fields on Android devices and open data kits to open your map. And you can use online tutorials to help get the most out of your mapping tips. So in addition to the tool itself being available for nonprofits, there's a lot of information out there on tutorials, on suggestions, on what people can do. But essentially the whole point of the Google Outreach program is to, again, let people know about your nonprofit, to give them that kind of preferred status that, you know, if you're, it's like I tell people, the more you tell a search engine or an audience about yourself, you know, who you are, what you do, the better chance you have of getting an interaction from somebody. And that's really, it should be the whole purpose of a nonprofit, is to go out there online, make use of the internet. In fact, my tagline is harness the power of the internet. And then it's just that. You take that technology and you use it to your advantage, or use it for the nonprofit's advantage, to where you maximize campaigns and your presence and interactions online, and take those and turn it into donations for your nonprofit, or turn it into events that you can host. And you know, not everyone, you know, there are certain organizations that they like to host in-person events, and I think they're great, but why not publicize it? Why not, you know, why not do a video snippet or do a testimonial of somebody at that event? So you can take a testimonial, put it on, say, a landing page, put an AdWords campaign to it, and hey, donate today. This is what we're doing. This is what testimonials that some of our participants think about our nonprofit organization, and that's a whole nother hangout about e-commerce and donations and all that. But you know, essentially, you have to maximize what you have. And I tell people all the time, when I first started out, I had a stack of books and a computer. That's it. And I took those resources and I built it into what I'm doing today, you know, which has enveloped me with Google Partners, Google Small Business, being a Google Rising Star, you know, being on a variety of different Hangout shows, you know, telling people about all these great products that Google has available. And I really hope that the nonprofits that are watching today take the time to go find out about the Google Nonprofit Program. Even if you decide to do it on your own, it's worth the investment of time. But I want to let our audience know, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I can be contacted online. It's literally as simple as going to Google and just type Molly Youngblood Geiger. I'm all over the place. Or you can type Design Right for You. It's the name of my agency. It's the number 4, the letter U, so Design Right, number 4, letter U. You can visit my website, and you can email me at molly@designrightforyou.com.
Beautiful. Thanks, Molly. That is such great information, and even more than that, the opportunities that are provided for nonprofits through the work that you're doing is key to continuing to bring nonprofits into the world of the 21st century, online, Google AdWords, and just really where business is being transacted right now, and that's in the social networking space,
Really
where
quick,
millions upon millions of people are residing.
really quick, I'd like to share a real case interaction that happened. Yesterday I was working and I got a phone call and I didn't recognize the number. And I thought, okay, who is this person calling me? And so we had some connectivity problems because he had just bought a new smartphone and he had some type of privacy app. But we finally connected. We finally got to talk to each other. And it was a gentleman who was looking to outsource some website work. He does merchant accounts and credit card sales. And he was looking for somebody to actually handle the website part of it for his clients. And we had a great conversation. And I asked him towards the end, I said, well, how did you hear about me? He goes, oh, I saw you on B. Lynn's Hangout as being the host, and I thought I would just reach out to you and see if you'd be able to help me. So I just wanted to quickly share that right there is real live case study of how Google Hangouts and getting out there and interacting with people online using digital strategies can really bolster your nonprofit and your business.
Thanks, Molly. That was really great. I'm so excited to, first of all, have heard that story, and second of all, to really get the feedback. This is working. What we intend to do with these hangouts and expressing so that people in the nonprofit space, in the for-profit space, in the social entrepreneurship space actually have the opportunity to move their businesses forward and to make a greater difference in the world. Amazing. Thank you so much. Dr. Horn, any last few words you'd like to leave with our audience as we're saying our parting stuff today?
Well, again, without Molly, we wouldn't be here. I mean, without the social media, again, that's all that techie stuff, and I'm pretty much in the course development and academician stuff. But as we transition into a college, this social media and all this other stuff that she handles, and it's totally outside of my area, but it's going to be very critical because I know how critical it's been up to this point. Because if we don't get out there, if we don't have that outreach, and it's the old Asian proverb, basically, the squeaky wheel does get the grease. And it's not only that you make noise, but it's the quality of it, I guess. So that's going to be very vital as we go into the transition period, and we refocus our efforts into this college program. So that's going to be very critical. So I invite everybody to come to our website, www.inventors.org, and just learn all about us and just see how we are transitioning.
Great. So for those of you inventors, we're also going to post the information on the website, in the events page, as well as with the write-up of the event today, so that you will have it. Molly, thank you so much. I'll give you one last opportunity to say something to our audience that you want them to take away with them, and they'll have the information to be able to connect directly with you, which I highly recommend. Worked with a lot of web developers over the course of time, and a lot of people who say I can do this and I can do that, but Molly has delivered. Molly has shown up and made some things happen, and that's my kind of people. So, Molly, any last words?
I just want to tell people, if you set your mind to it, you can do it. You can accomplish what you want with your nonprofit, with your business. Again, if you're not sure of this, of the digital strategies out there, contact a professional. Contact a Google partner. They are trained in these areas. They know that with the Google partners we get certified, which means we have to do all the studying. We have these certification tests that take 2 hours, I might add, to take. You have to get an 80% or better to qualify. And, just set your mind to do it. It's really all about thinking you can do it. If you can do it, you can accomplish it.
Beautiful and beautifully put. Thank you both for being here with me today on the Biz Info Zone show. To our audience, thanks for joining me live. Thanks for joining me in the replay. If you had to replay, run it again, because there's a lot of great information that was shared here today. For those of you who are viewing and hanging out with me in this live Periscope scoping, I invite you to go to bizinfozone.com and check out this recording, this additional information, because again, while we at the P3 Academy want you to be able to express your purpose, plan your next moves, take that inspired action, implement what it is that you're learning, we're also here to serve. And we're serving so that we can all live in the space of prosperity and abundance. And it takes every one of us sharing the information that we're receiving, especially to those who we know it'll be able to benefit. And I'm asking you to do that. Find us on YouTube. You can find us by searching the Biz Info Zone shows. The channel is there. Find Molly. Like I said at the beginning, we actually conducted an experiment with this show today. We are simulcasting through the Biz Info Zone show channel as well as Molly's Google Ambassador channel, and we're periscoping. Man, who could ask for more than that? So, once again, I'm Lynn Hawkins, your host. I want to leave you with these parting words. Remember, sharing is caring, and caring comes from an open heart. Open hearts, open hearts. Share your open heart by sharing the Biz Info Zone show information. Thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next week, same place, same time, for another great show. Thanks again, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.